Hey, welcome back to JG3 Reviews. My name is James, and I review fountain pens, ink, and all that good stuff. And today, it's kind of a special pen. A few months ago, I got a box. Didn't expect it at all, didn't know it was coming. Someone had anonymously sent me a pen, an ink, and a sticker from Goulet, and this is the pen. It is the Platinum Procyon, a very good-looking, as you can see, a very good-looking pen, kind of considered a next-level pen. Really versatile. You know, it's good-looking enough to just be useful in all kinds of settings. It's also very well made, and I'm going to go ahead and jump to this, a good writer. But why do I think so? Well, let's flip the camera, and we'll see why. All right, here is the deep sea blue Procyon or Procyon from Platinum. Look at that really good-looking matte blue finish to the aluminum body. I think that looks great. And this is a really well-made pen. You immediately can tell that it's just well done. The fit, the finish, it's all nicely done. Good example of how heft is not always the sign of quality. In this case, this is a light pen, very well made. The clip may look familiar. This is a Platinum Preppy, and you might think they're the same clip, but they actually vary in length. The Procyon is actually a little bit shorter, but it has the same design language. And we'll look at some similarities and differences between this and some other Platinum pens here in just a second. But as you look over the pen, very simple and nicely done, tastefully done pen. Now, when we open it up, and you'll like this, it opens in one turn. This is a very handy, everyday carry pen. See there? I mean, you gotta like that. Okay, so once you have the pen open, what do we find? There's some interesting things going on. First, down in that cap, if you can see, is the patented slip and seal from Platinum, which I wouldn't make a big deal out of, except that it works. In every Platinum pen I've ever had, it just works. So I really appreciate that. Keeps your pen from drying out for some really long times. I've had them go months without an issue. You just pop the cap off and it just works. Now the section is a plastic section. This is kind of a smoky gray grip section. It is a comfortable one. It is short. These threads, though, are not sharp, and so they don't cause an issue there. The step is far enough back. It doesn't cause an issue. When we open the pen up, you will find this one has a cartridge. This is the included cartridge, although whoever gifted this pen did include a converter. It doesn't come with the pen, but they included a converter and some extra cartridges. Very, very nice there. And these are, of course, proprietary cartridges and converters that we're talking about because it is a Platinum, right? Now, one thing about it, let me just tell you this. You will first think, looking at it, in pictures, when I'd seen this pen before, I assumed that this was the same nib as what is found on the Preppy, and I'll show you why I thought this. The shape of these looks very similar. However, you probably caught it already since there's visual comparison here for scale. They are not at all the same, and certainly not the same size even. They just have a similar visual similarity. But you will also notice that they are designated differently in their sizing. So this says medium, this says 0.5. These are both mediums, though they are not identical mediums. You'll notice there is less tipping material on the Procyon. And so it does write differently, not just because of the size of that nib, but because of the difference between the tipping material of the two. Also, little feature that you'll want to know, this feed is designed in such a way that when you are filling the converter and you put this in the bottle, you don't have to put it all the way in, and you can get more of the ink out of a bottle like that one back there that is low. So that helps as well. You don't have to submerge all the way up past the end of the grip to be able to get ink out of a bottle. So that's always good to know too. While we're talking about nibs and grip sections, let me show you one other little parlor trick about this pen. So if I remove the barrel of this pen and put it onto the grip section of my Platinum 3776, it doesn't look great, it doesn't look right, it looks like a Franken pen, right? But it fits. I don't know why you would need to do that, want to do that, be compelled to do that, but if for some reason that is something you want to do, well, there you go. It's a possibility. Another nib you might want to compare this to, I would cross-shop these two pens, I think, would be the Lamy Ion. Very similar in shape and size, and even a little bit similar in writing, though this is going to be a bit finer than, of course, a Lamy medium would be. All right, let's do a quick size comparison. There it is next to a Lamy Studio, a Platinum Plaisir, the Lamy Ion, not intentionally Lamy heavy here today, or the Waterman Emblem. Now I include this pen because later on I'm going to do a comparison between this Waterman and the Procyon and another pen that I think might be cross-shopped with these two. Pretty good heat of the battle sort of a thing between those pens. So there you can see pretty standard issue size going on here. And there you have a size comparison with the pens posted, which of course is quite different sometimes than when they are capped. All right, not only does it uncap very quickly, it posts quite well and securely and is very well balanced in the hand when you do. It is not back heavy, just a really well balanced pen. The ink is Platinum's Blue Black, which is an iron gall ink, just so you know. Very well behaved. I just find it really reliable on all kinds of paper, so I end up using it quite a bit. Why don't we just check that while we're talking about it? Wetness, it writes fairly dry, and that's fairly typical, I think, for a Platinum pen, but reliably well. I think that's part of why it's so well behaved on cheap paper. Bleed through and ghosting and things like that are really not an issue with this ink very often, like almost never. Just really well done. Rhodia paper, and you will hear it. It has that platinum feel, which is just a little bit pencil-y in both sound and in feel, but in a very good way, like a nice running pencil across the page. If you know, you know. It's not at all scratchy. Now, you will notice, as I mentioned earlier, that a medium in the Procyon nib is still a fairly fine line. Now, compared to their fines, it's definitely not fine, but it's not as thick. In fact, let me just compare for you. This is a Plaisir in 0.3, which would be considered a fine, and you will notice it's very similar to this medium Procyon. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, since they don't designate them in the same way, I would consider this closer to the 0.3 by far than to the 0.5 if you're familiar with the Preppies and Plaisirs and those other pens that have the 0.5. This is much closer to the 0.3. Bonus points, anybody who knows how you can get to all of those places without ever crossing a border. So thanks once again to the person who generously gave this pen to me, because I really enjoy it. It's part of my regular rotation. And if you're looking for a pen that kind of can do almost all, it's good in any situation, whether you are in school or in business or wherever you are, this pen is going to fit in. The style of it is going to fit in. The reliability, the good build, the great reputation, the slip and seal, There's nothing not to like, I don't think, about this pen unless you just really like heavy pens. It's not heavy. If you're good with a light pen, put this on your list. Check it out. It is a fantastic fountain pen. All right, thank you once again for all the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and what do you think about this pen? Share that in the comments below, and God bless you, and I'll see you again in the next video.